Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Before I go any further, I want to ask y'all a question. Have you heard about the Epstein files? Have you? Have you seen the Epstein file? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The ball has dropped. The Democrats have released some emails between Jeffrey Epstein and his girlfriend, the lady that's in jail now. And in the emails, it mentions Trump. Dun, dun, dun. He's cooked. Now, before I go any further, let me get this clearly understood as best as I possibly can. I know there's still some people who ain't gonna get it. When it comes to child molesters, pedophiles, anybody that would do something to harm children in any kind of way, especially in that molesting type way, I want them. What's the worst possible thing you can do to them? That's what I want done to them. I don't care if it's my family, if it's my brother, my sister, my mom, anybody that do something like that to a child, I believe they should be hung up by their beep, their cook, and ring. There's no punishment too harsh for them. Cut it off. Stick it in their own. That's the way I feel about child molesters, pedophiles. I have people that I've been knowing over the years that were close to me that have been victims of that. And it's horrible. And I wish that on nobody. And anybody that would do that to a child needs to be F up. Let's get that understood. Let's get that out the way. I won't side with anybody. I don't give a damn who it is. So if I thought this guy was guilty of this shit, hang him. I don't give a damn about no politics, no vote, no Republican, no Democrat, no liberal, no conservative. If you're that type of human being, you should be destroyed. Do y'all hear me? I know some in the back still gonna be like, you defending a pedophile? If I think someone or believe or is proven that someone is a pedophile, for those in the back who only hear what they want to hear, I don't support them. I want them unalive in the worst way possible. Okay, so let's move forward. I know some of y'all been on your ways, and no matter what I say, you don't get what I'm saying. So now on to this, right? Hold on, we're gonna go a little further.
Once the House is back in session, Tom, there also is some movement likely on the push to release the Epstein files. What's going on with that today?
Yeah, this is a big story sort of continuing to develop today. So as part of the House reconvening after almost 2 months, for the first time reconvening after almost 2 months, Representative Adelita Grijalva from Arizona will be sworn in, and she will be the deciding vote on a House measure to release, to compel the Justice Department to release investigative files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. And very notable timing with all this, because this comes as Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released new emails from Jeffrey Epstein dating back years ago. And one from...
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something, because I'm going to go deep into this. What the Democrats ain't going to tell you. They took the victim's name out. And it's very sinister as to why they did that. They know who the victim is, and I'm going to tell you who the victim is. She's no longer living. She unalived herself. But she's a victim of Jeffrey Epstein and his island and what went on there. And they took her name out on purpose, so you won't be able to go look up her name to know that she already testified. The victim that they're talking about he spent hours with, they already know about her. They already know who it is. That's why they removed the name. The name is public record, but they don't want you to be able to look up the name. The name is not hidden. It's not what they call it when something be private. Whatever. In other words, I got the name. The name on the internet. The name everywhere. I'm going to tell you her name. She wrote a book and everything. She wrote her own memoir. She testified under oath. All that. The Democrats know that. These emails go back to 2011. This 2025. Ain't none of this stuff new. Notice that it's been put out by who? The Democrats. There, who knows how many people done dealt with Epstein, but notice they only mention Trump. And what they saying, hold on, we'll finish, hold on.
2011 to his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein writes, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Victim names and personal information are redacted in these emails. But to show our viewers another one, this is from 2019 when asked by author Michael Wolff, who has written several books on the president about Donald Trump banning Epstein from membership at Mar-a-Lago. Epstein writes, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Oversight Democrats...
Now, did you hear that? Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago. It's going to get deeper. It's going to get deeper to where when you moving in circles like that, everybody know everybody and what everybody's doing. But I can't really prove nothing. But I know something ain't right with you, so I'm cutting you off. You can't come here no more. That's what this is about. They not saying Trump did nothing. They saying he knew about the girls. He knew about it, but he couldn't prove shit. The feds knew about it. They didn't prove nothing until they went and got him. Everybody knew about it, not just Trump. They leave it out what they accusing him of, that he knew about it. Not that he participated. Hold on, let's keep going.
Released these emails and wrote, quote, they raised serious questions about Donald Trump and his knowledge of Epstein's horrific crimes. We also want to show our viewers this, though. Just in the last hour, News Nation received a lengthy statement from the White House about this, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt writing, quote, the Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre.
That's the name I'm going to give you. So the so-called victim is Virginia Giuffre. Look that name up for yourself, liberal, Democrat, whoever. I know y'all ain't gonna do it because you don't want to know the truth. Look that name up yourself. That's the so-called victim that they say spent hours with Trump. This is what she said. She repeatedly said Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing. But she also named who was. She told everything about what Epstein did, some prime minister somewhere who did her bad. Everybody that did something to her, she named them. Why she ain't named Trump? He wasn't the president at the time. In 2011. So, everybody that did something to her, she named.
Who repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre.
Did you hear that? Let me play it again for the people in the back. Hold on. Give me a minute, y'all.
For being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre. These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments. Again, very notable timing with this because we might get some updated comments about...
Again, read that. The Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a narrative to smear President Trump. the unnamed victim, who the Democrats conveniently left out, they scratched it out. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you leave out the victim's name when the name ain't hidden? Everybody got access to it, but why did y'all erase it when you leaked the information? It's not confidential information. It's known. It's like you can you find it anywhere. That go a name right there, Virginia Giuffre. So why is the name on the email that the Democrats passing around, her name ain't on there? Because they know if you look at the name, you'll go find out that the lady said, Trump ain't do nothing to me. He couldn't have been nicer. He kicked Epstein out because he was a creep. He cut him off. I had to cut a friend off because I found out he's nasty. Anyway.
To create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre. These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments. Again, very notable timing with this because we might get some updated comments about these email releases during the White House press briefing later this afternoon, Marty. Thank you for watching.
I'm going to say this again. I know some of y'all going to come in. You taking up for a pedophile. You love Trump. You a bootlicking Uncle Trump, whatever. I believe in the truth. Truth right there in your face. It was leaked by Democrats. And then only going after one dude. Do y'all know how many people are allegedly or possibly been dealt with that Epstein dude? But you only coming after. Y'all don't find that kind of iffy, sketchy there? Only Trump, huh? The emails don't even say Trump did something with the girl. It just said Trump done knew the girl before, them been in her presence, and the girl admitted that. The girl was interviewed. She wrote a book, a memoir, telling everything that happened to her before she unalived herself. She couldn't take the pain no more. She didn't, it's horrible. And if I saw anything, as a matter of fact, here's what you do. Here's what you do. Since y'all saying he did something, Democrat, you got it. Dead to the wrong. Lock his ass up. You hate him anyway. Here's your chance. He did it. One question. What are they saying he did? If you're going to charge him, what are you going to charge him with? Ask yourself some questions. What are they saying he did? You have email between one creep to his girlfriend. Epstein to his girlfriend. Two pedophiles that everybody knows. Anybody who knew them people. People found out what they did, cut them off. Trump did the same thing. If anything, if he knew, should he have told the feds or whatever? How do we know he didn't? They busted him. Dude was busted. Somebody told on him. How do we know who it was? Dude admitted. Other people know Trump cut him off. The girl said Trump cut him off because dude was acting like a creep. He was mistreating his Trump's female employees. It's a long backstory to that, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little digging. You can find out for yourself, but y'all don't want to do that. You'd rather listen to Jasmine Crockett and the rest of them. He's a pedophile. Okay. Prosecute him. That's what you do. Well, he's too powerful. He wasn't too powerful for y'all to put them bogus 34 counts on him. Of bullshit. Oh, he wasn't too powerful for that. Y'all, he's a 34 count convicted felon. He wasn't too powerful for that. But here, y'all accusing him of being a pedophile child molester. Oh, you can't charge him with that, though. He's too powerful. Something that'll put his ass away for life. Knowing y'all would love that. But now he too powerful. We can't put them charges. Charge his ass. If you don't charge him and he's guilty of some shit like that, I'm pissed off. I want him locked up. If President Trump is guilty of doing children like that, I want his ass locked up. So you pissing me off if you know he did some shit like that and you won't lock him up. Arrest him. File charges. You got the proof. You say you got emails or some kind of evidence. File charges. Hold on, y'all. But here's what's going on for real. This shit political. They're using, just like they just use the pain and suffering of innocent civilians with this government shutdown to get their political advantage. The same way the Democrats just used the pain and suffering of the poor to try to get some leverage to get their way. They're doing the same thing again, using victims of sexual abuse to get their way. They don't care about nothing and nobody but getting their way. They don't care about how them people feel. They're telling lies. If he did it, file charges, take it to trial, and let us see. I want to know. I want to know. So I can apologize for supporting the creep. Do that for me, please. And I will come on here myself and say, man, I'm dead wrong. I supported a pedophile. Forgive me. I promise you that. Y'all ain't gonna do that though. Guarantee you ain't gonna do it. Now I want y'all to go look up the lady's name. You saw her name. Virginia Jeffrey, Giuffre. That's the victim that they blot the name out. If the name is not a secret, if it's not classified documents, why did they erase the name so you couldn't see it? And she's dead. And she's already came out and told her side of the story. She's already been questioned. I want y'all to go look it up for yourself. Hold on. I'm going to let y'all see what I'm reading. Go look up Virginia Giuffre on Trump, and it's going to come up. The recent statements and posthumously released memoir of Virginia Giuffre reveal that she consistently maintained Donald Trump was not involved in Jeffrey Epstein's abuse, despite Epstein alleging in email that Trump was aware of his misconduct. So who you gonna believe, Jasmine Crockett or the lady that the shit happened to? Who you gonna believe? Jasmine Crockett and other Trump-hating Democrats, or the lady who it actually happened to, the actual victim, who was there? Her statements, and I quote, who died by suicide in April of 2025. She just died. Stated in a sworn court deposition and in her own memoir called Nobody's Girl. Go look it up. A book called Nobody's Girl by this lady here, Virginia Jeffrey. If you want anything you want to know, whatever she had to say about Trump is in that book, who she wrote. I know y'all still gonna come with, he must have paid her. Why Epstein didn't pay her? Why the other folks didn't pay her to be quiet? If Trump didn't pay her, Epstein was a billionaire too. Why he didn't pay her? If she just wanted to get paid, pay her, she'll shut up. Why Trump the only one she said didn't do nothing then? She said in Nobody's Girl that Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing. The lady herself said it. What else do you want? This is some bullshit. This shows you how dirty, not just the Democrats, politics is dirty. People telling me to run for shit. I wish I would. Hell no. I don't want no part of that dirt, that filth. They don't care who they hurt to get their agenda approved. Both sides. Republicans. All that bullshit, Hillary's emails. What about Hillary's emails? Y'all, both sides, they do the same shit. Biden's laptop, Hunter Biden. I'm not trying to get involved in that bullshit. And it's the same damn thing. Don't need no evidence. Don't need no proof. All they want to do is just cast doubt. If they just can get you to doubt just a little bit, that's all they trying to do. They don't care about proving that. They don't care that ain't finna be no trial. He ain't finna get arrested. He ain't finna get charged. Ain't nothing gonna happen. They just want more people talking about Trump. That's Trump. That's all they want. All they're concerned about the next elections. Nothing else. Who you gonna believe? You ain't gotta believe me. Don't take my word for it. Go look up with the lady, the so-called victim who they scratched out. I'm telling you who the victim is. Her name is public record. The Democrats know her name is public record. But yet, on the so-called email that they done leaked, her name is blotted out. Why? Because they don't want you to go investigate on your own and find out that woman said Trump ain't do shit. Why y'all leaking email talking about Epstein said Trump knew what he was doing or whatever? Epstein accusing Trump saying, he pretty much saying, I think Trump owned us. He know about the girls. Just right after Trump banned his ass. He writing his girl, Trump is the dog that hadn't barked. In other words, he ain't said shit. He might be on us. He might know about the girls, man. That's just my opinion. But this ain't no opinion. This fact. That woman said out of her own mouth. And I can't stand this shit, man. Because that's a very serious accusation. I hate them people, man. I don't hate nobody on this planet but them. I said I hate Democrats, but I don't. I know y'all just delusional and clueless and just goofy as hell. I don't hate you because you're retarded. But pedophiles, child molesters, I got a son. And he autistic. To think about something like that, I would go the F off. I'm not going to defend nobody that I have a slight inkling that they bought that shit right there. Trump or whoever. So y'all can miss me with that. You just defending the pedophile. You just love Trump. F you. Let me find out you're a pedophile and see if I love pedophiles. And I can find out where you at. Now, she recalled meeting Trump only once at his Mar-a-Lago club, which was in the email, where she worked where she did what? Worked. He spent time with her. She worked there. She recalled meeting Trump only once at his Mar-a-Lago club, where she worked as a spa attendant. According to Jeffrey, Trump couldn't have been friendlier during their encounter, and even offered to help her find babysitting jobs for families staying at his properties. Jeffrey's ghostwriter also stated that Jeffrey was a huge Trump fan and believed he would use a second term to release evidence against Epstein. She believed that Trump would use his second term, which he in now, to release evidence against Epstein. She was against Epstein. She hated Epstein because of what he did to her. But she loved Trump. Fan of him. He couldn't have been nicer. This out the victim's mouth. Not out of some lying-ass Democrat. Not out of my mouth. Not out of his mouth. Not out of that guy's mouth. Out of the victim's mouth herself. And I'm going to leave that alone. Get it, got it good. Bye.